It's time to take your business to the next level, the boss level. These are the premier business owner strategies and successes being utilized by the industry's top talent today. Rock your business like a boss, a VO boss. Now let's welcome your host, Ann Ganguzza.
Hey everyone, welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my most wonderful, excellent guest co-host, Miss Keisha Monk. Hey, Keisha.
That's a lot of descriptors in there. Wonderful, excellent. Like, wow, well, who are you talking about?
I could add so much more.
Well, that's sweet.
I was just blasting off those today. But Keisha,
yeah.
I want to talk about a new platform, a new social media platform, a relatively new platform, which I happen to love because it's all audio. And of course, being a voice talent, I like audio platforms like podcasts. It always surprised me how few of the voice talent out there have podcasts. I think it's now kind of catching on because this is what we do. It's audio. But, of late, this new social media app called Clubhouse, of which I just became a member, but I know you're a member. I think we should talk about it because you've been doing some really exciting things on this platform. And enlighten me, please.
Without exaggeration, and this app has literally shifted my career. I am not exaggerating. I'm totally not exaggerating.
How is it? So I know, one thing I do know is that I saw your video on, you posted maybe a couple weeks ago about you were cast as the narrator for Dreamgirls production.
Yes, ma'am.
And also I think another production, was there not two productions that you're part of now?
Well, not necessarily. I'll tell you exactly what it is. So, first of all, of course, I'm not sure if the boss has heard my previous podcasts with you, but I am a radio personality in my blood, and I did 20 years doing that thing. And, I was the kid that lugged around that big, the big tape recorder and did all kinds of crazy things growing up. Yeah, totally. So I've always, even as a child, have been absolutely amazed and fascinated with the power of voice.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I mentioned this story to you. When I was a kid, they had these 900 numbers.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those. Party lines.
I remember those, the party lines. Yep.
And I used to run my mom's phone bill up astronomically, just hanging out on these party lines. I used to do little corny things like grab greeting cards and read them to the people in the room and stuff like that. And people always just say, oh, my God, your voice is so nice. So, again, there's just something about the voice. And I mean, of course, and if you are in voiceover, if you're not in voiceover, subconsciously you have to understand that the voice can invoke emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
It is the great connector. Whoever created the radio knew that. They knew that. And that's why, the voice is such an important tool. And so obviously when I discovered Clubhouse, I'm like, OMG. It's a voice app where you can kind of just go have conversations with people.
And there's a lot of people on there, and there's a lot of heavy hitters on there. So it's really, to me, it's amazing because you can be in the room with somebody that you would, under normal circumstances, never have an opportunity to engage with.
And that's the thing that people don't quite understand. And I will tell you in a little while, but just like you said, you could be literally sitting next to someone who's pretty much of a power, a big heavy hitter,
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me.
So do tell, please, because it was exciting news.
So I take this Clubhouse thing very, very seriously. I did a Women in Voiceover panel a couple of weeks ago, and I grabbed some of my good girlfriends and I put them on the virtual stage, and we all talked about voiceover, obviously, our careers, our journeys, our struggles. We talked about racism in voice. It was really, really good. I want to say maybe about 300 people showed up.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was awesome. We took questions. It was very interactive. I tried to do a women's empowerment thing at the end. It was great. And so a couple of days later, somebody contacted me from NBC. And they said, we really, really love your voice. we want to hear you do your best Kamala Harris impression.
Whoa, really?
And so I got to be honest with you, Ann. At first, I was like, there's no way I can do that. I don't do impressions. But you do not tell an exec at NBC no.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went into the booth and I did the best I could and I sent it and they loved it and they hired me.
Nice.
Period. But get this, that's not where it ends, my friend. After I hit send, they sent me another opportunity to play the role of the manila folder on Nancy Pelosi's desk in the Capitol.
No way.
I am a manila folder.
Well, wait, I was talking about a completely different production. This is incredible. Wow.
Oh, I have
this is
several.
even more than I've heard. Wow.
I have several opportunities. And again, I've only been on the app for like a month or so. I have several opportunities that I have seized as a result of being active on Clubhouse.
So let me ask you a question. So you hosted a panel. So you were the moderator, right? You invited a couple of other women to be on that panel with you. And then ultimately, just for the bosses who who are not on Clubhouse or don't have an account yet, there is the moderators, and then there's a stage, right? And the stage is where, if you want to get up on stage, I guess to be invited to talk or have the discussion, you can raise your hand so that you can be moved to the stage, so that ultimately you can have the capability to talk and interact with the moderators and other people on the panel.
So here it is. No. Let's not even get that technical.
Okay.
The VO Boss Conference is happening at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Madison Square Garden is the clubhouse. It's the building. It's the facade.
It's the building.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ann Ganguza is the host.
Hosting the conference. Yeah.
She's hosting the conference. And so while, you got one stage with Ann, and then you got Keisha, and you got got Randy Thomas, and we're all on stage. Now, the people who, let's say, have our personal phone numbers, they're the ones who are connected to us. Those are the ones that are sitting in the front row. Mm-hmm. So again, you have the stage, and then you have the front row. Those are the people who are directly connected to us, or who are followed by, quote unquote, the speakers.
Ah, yes.
And then you have everybody else
who's in what do you call that? The audience? What do you call that?
Yes,
in the audience. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a member of the audience, do I have the capacity to talk to people?
You do. All you got to do is raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
And you, as the moderator or the host, have the ability to bring them up on stage.
Perfect. And I think what's so amazing for me, and literally I've just had the account for 3 days, so I'm still kind of getting my feet wet. I think it wasn't even the thought of it was oh, this is great. It's an audio platform. I love it. I love all things audio because obviously voice talent. And so it wasn't until I actually went into one of the rooms and started listening to people interacting and talking where I said, whoa, this is powerful. This is super powerful. So, all right. So you've gotten 2 jobs already from NBC. Now, when NBC contacted you, did they contact you through the Clubhouse app, or did they?
No, they just emailed me. The Clubhouse does not have the ability to inbox people, which is a wonderful thing. What it is you have to connect your Instagram and your Twitter feeds to your account. And then that way, Clubhouse kind of knows what you're interested in. It kind of goes through all the people that you follow and kind of curates an experience for you. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen, Ann, is once you start, going in these voiceover rooms, and again, you could be a woman of many different interests. For me, it's cancer surviving and real estate investing. The more you participate, the more the app understands what you like. And so when you log on, you'll begin to see rooms that are that you would definitely be interested in.
And they also have interests, so that when I first logged on, it asked me to identify my interests in terms of topics. And I think that's a new development.
Yes, it is.
Because I was looking to see what was new. Plus the fact that you can create a more extensive bio than I thought before. But I really love the way that in a way, it's kind of a semi-exclusive thing. And the other thing that I really like, that makes people, of course, want to be on it more. But the other thing, too, is that it is, if you are not there live, that's it. You know what I mean? It's done. The show is live. And I think there's something really awesome to be said for that, because I have been hosting webinars for years, right? For, over 10 years. And there's always the capability of somebody to get the video afterwards or the audio afterwards, and even a podcast, right? You can download the audio afterwards. You can go listen to it whenever you want. But this is like, if you're not there, and it's almost creates this excitement about the event, and also this like, wow, I better be there. And I think it makes it so much more exciting, and that you need to be present at the time.
Totally.
And active. And I love that. And I think it's been a long time coming that a social media platform has now, you have to be live. Otherwise it's done and it's gone.
And then not only that, it's an opportunity for people to kind of like follow you, right? So if you are on a stage and as you're talking and you're making an impact with people who are in the audience, people are going to, number one, they're going to follow you on Clubhouse.
Right.
And then they'll even go a step further and they'll click onto your Instagram and they'll follow you there. Like, honestly, I've gained at least within the past week and a half over about 1,000 followers on my Instagram.
I saw you commenting about it was just blowing up. So that's fantastic.
It totally is. And it just makes sense, again, for voiceover artists who, if you're just a voiceover, or if you are, if you want to host rooms, you can totally do that. It is absolutely incredible. As a matter of fact, Anne, this is the crazy part. I really never saw it in myself to be a mentor, but people are literally flooding my inboxes wanting me to mentor them. So I had to hurry up and, buy a subscription to like some scheduling software and try to get everything situated.
I can totally see that.
Incredible. Yeah,
so
totally
now,
incredible.
In terms of the types of content that you host, so you hosted something on VoiceOver. Now, is it just something you're like, ooh, I want to host a room and talk about this? Was it just organic, or have you started to like maybe plan panels? How is that working for you?
So I got to be honest with you. And again, this is not anything against people who just decide to wake up in the morning and do, a room. Oh my God, please don't think I'm crazy. Everything I do.
I'm going to just say, every time that I go on to the app, I see that you are involved. I see Keisha because I follow you, and I look at what's available, what's playing, what rooms are going on right now, and I see Keisha because you're right up at the top there, and you're either moderating, I believe you're either moderating or you're attending, and so I've seen you quite a bit.
I don't necessarily wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to moderate a couple of rooms. What happens is when people see that I'm in the room, they'll say, oh my God, Keisha's here, come on up. And so that's basically how it works. But if there's anything that I've had in mind that I wanted to host, it's a whole strategy. For instance, I'll give you an example. For my Women in VoiceOver panel, I wanted to make sure that I pulled together some of my good girlfriends that were all unique. So, of course, I had Maria, who is really good at corporate narration, and she also knows a hell of a lot about the union. And then I pulled Malika Millette, who was an old girlfriend of mine who has had tremendous success in voiceover, but she used to be in radio. She also has on-camera experience. And then I may have pulled Mara Juno.
Yeah, exactly. So now, are you notifying them before the panel, or are you just saying, hey, I'm thinking about having a room, let's talk about it, and then it happens?
So again, see, my approach is a little bit different, because if I'm having a themed Clubhouse room or chat, rather, I will take a week and a half to prepare. So I invite them, I send them emails throughout the week, I sent them an agenda, I pulled some of their audio from their demos, I fused it all together. I played it. It's a whole production that I do. And again, I did another one just the other day, which was really incredible. I did a room called Black, Bald, and Beautiful. And it was about basically women who face adversity in the radio and television industry. And what happened, Anne, was that the panel was it just became very emotional. They started talking about like sexual abuse in the workplace and, things like that. And put it like this, whenever, and this, as a VO boss, whenever you have a bunch of people right, in a space, virtual or physical, that have a commonality,
Oh, absolutely.
magic happens. It's very, very powerful. And so that's how I curate my experiences on Clubhouse. That's how I do it. Everybody doesn't do it that way. But that's what works for me, because I want to be successful in this business, but more importantly, I want to be impactful.
Sure, absolutely.
And so that's how I do it.
Now, I'm going to say, in terms of your strategy, is this going to be a strategy moving forward that you'll do, as a regular sort of, now this has become a really cool, I don't see this app moving away or going away anytime soon. It literally is on fire. And I think that the opportunities for networking and really having meaningful, impactful, as you're saying, discussions that can really change people for the better, I think is just amazing. So is your strategy to, let's say, do something once a week, or are you planning, I'm just curious, because I'm still formulating. This is what I can do. Like maybe the bosses will have a room, right? Absolutely.
Of course. And I would certainly hope that that's what you will do. Unfortunately, I don't have a plan to do this thing on a weekly basis because I am slammed. Don't forget, I am a voiceover artist.
Exactly.
I got to make sure that, I'm still available for auditions and sessions and whatnot. However, even though I don't necessarily have a time frame, I will do this as often as I can, because there is truly a benefit. And it's not all about me being in front row and center all the time. When I go to bed at night, it totally is. And it is a haven for creatives. I'll tell you about the Dreamgirls thing in a minute.
That's the one that I saw that you posted on Facebook. And I actually, you posted a little bit of the video. And I believe were you on Clubhouse when you were talking, or were they had called you on the phone? So that's pretty awesome.
Okay. So are you ready for this story?
Ready.
Because this is a freaking crazy, crazy situation. And I really, really hope that everyone listening will truly get my frame of thought.
Okay. We're ready.
So, Dreamgirls is, well, first of all, let me back up. At first, they did The Lion King.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the one that I thought you were the narrator for, but they had already done that.
Right. And at the time, I wasn't even a member of Clubhouse, but I kept seeing it trend on Twitter. And then after it was over, HLN did something on it. CNN did something. It was in the Times. It was in Variety magazine about these creatives who decided to do an audio version of Lion King.
Love it. Love it.
That production received over 300 million impressions across social media. Okay. So I thought, that's
like
cool.
Radio drama. Right?
Right, exactly. It was pretty, and I was doing something. Oh, I know what happened. So there's a cap. You generally can't get more than 5,000 people in the room. And it was 5,000 people, and I couldn't get in. And once I got in, I kept getting off, and I was like, it is what it is. But it was tremendous. It was extremely successful. So then I learned that there a different set of creatives were going to put on a production of Dreamgirls. And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. And so they had live auditions. I went into the room and, I'm just doing my work and I'm literally sitting there for hours.
That was the tail end of your audition that we heard? On the one that I saw in the video?
Well, actually, I put a couple of videos out, so I'm not sure which one you're referring to. So check it out, right? So I'm in the room and I'm hearing everybody singing and it's just song after, and they're just singing the same song over and over. You know how auditions go.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't hear anybody narrating, or I know that there are announcer roles in this film. Like, why isn't anybody doing it? And so my husband goes, just raise your hand and get on stage and do it.
Did you have a script for the narrator? Did they have that as one of the options?
They didn't. That's what makes this story so freaking amazing. So I raised my hand. First of all, I do it reluctantly because I'm like, there's 5,000 people in the room. There's absolutely no way they're going to pick me because, and then they pick me. And so now I'm on stage and I'm like, oh my God, this is my chance, but I don't even have anything to read. So I grab the laptop and I'm searching and I'm trying to find the script and I find a little bit of something to read. And when it's my time, I read it and they say, thank you very much. And then they kick me off stage. Right. And so I went to bed that night thinking, it doesn't matter if I get it or not. I just find myself, I find it amazing that I pushed myself to do something that wasn't like in the norm.
Sure.
Like I made an opportunity and I was proud of myself. And I went ahead to sleep, girl. And then the next day, holy crap. Somebody from the production sends me a tweet. They're like, Keisha, get in the audition room right now. I had no idea they were doing a second round of auditions.
Oh!
So wow. I go in the room.
So you got the callback.
Put me on stage.
You
right,
got
I got
the
a callback.
Uh-huh.
It was a callback.
And did they have something for you to read this time?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
They didn't because they don't have time. It's just too many people.
Got it.
And so I found something. I made a little adjustments. There was a word like in the script that I couldn't pronounce, so I just made a change. I found a synonym for it, and I read it, and they go, "Thank you, Keisha," and I say, "Thank you." They said, "You're hired," and I'm like, "What?" And that's probably the video you saw.
That's the video I saw. That's the video I saw.
I'm like, "Are you serious?" And then mind you, Amber Riley from Glee, she's in the room. She's one of the judges. Wow. Cheryl Lee Ralph, which is one of the original Dreamgirls, she's in the room. There was another R&B. Like, there are celebrities in the room.
Oh,
and they're all crying. They're like, your voice, your intensity, you're making us cry. And I'm like, no, this is not happening right now.
I'm clapping right now for you. I'm clapping. That's
and girl,
so exciting.
That's how it happened. So get it. Get this. I have and now that I'm seeing who's putting this production on, I have access to people who are executive producers at Fox and at ABC and at NBC and all the major networks.
Hello.
And I am over the freaking moon.
Well, Keisha, congratulations. That is, it's just such an amazing story of, getting outside of your comfort zone, doing something, that you just, and you did, and look at how it paid off. What an amazing story. Wow.
Nothing great comes from comfort zones.
Isn't that the truth?
Nothing.
Isn't that the truth? You
have got to, even in unfamiliar spaces, even when you think that you may not belong, because mind you, no one else was reading. No one.
Yeah.
I
everybody
went on
was
that
singing.
stage.
Yeah, everybody was singing.
I'm telling you, I literally filled the void
when they called you up.
Attention.
Okay, so when they called you up, did you say, I'm not going to sing, I'm going to, I'd like to read something? Or have you, did you ask about the narrator?
What I said was, and again, this is me being conscious. I'm like, they've been in here for 25 hours. They don't want to hear a long story.
Yes,
Come up with something cute to say. And what I said was, hello, everyone. My name is Keisha, and I'm going to sing for you. Never mind. That's not my ministry. I'm just going to read. and that's what I did.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Wow. Well, what a great story. So, bosses, there's so many lessons here to be learned. And Keisha, I am so incredibly happy for you. You deserve every single bit of success that's coming your way.
Thanks,
and, bosses, this is just goes to show you what you can do when you go outside your comfort zone. You take that step out and be brave and have a little bit of courage, and wonderful things can happen. And I could not be happier for you, Keisha.
Thanks, Ann.
Yeah. I'm going to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, IPDTL. You too can connect and be motivated and inspired by going to IPDTL.com and finding out more. You guys have an amazing week, and go out there and see if you can get an invite to Clubhouse. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your host, Ann Ganguza. And take your business to the next level. Sign up for our mailing list at voboss.com and receive exclusive content, industry revolutionizing tips and strategies, and new ways to rock your business like a boss. Redistribution with permission, coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.